and the help that I've been given. I go to AA, that's my program, and my own anonymity is my business. I don't care about my own anonymity, but it's called anonymous because you have the choice to be anonymous. So I will never mention anybody's business or name that's in the program, but I can talk about my own struggles all I want in my own program. So when I first got sober, I wouldn't say I was at like the pit of my drinking. That was in my 20s. But I still was a problem drinker in my 30s. Like, I could not just have, I could have one, I could have two, but if I had three, I was gonna get, even if it was just like on the couch, like in my 30s, I was more of like a wine mom. So, anyways, hit my own rock bottom, which does not have to mean it's different for everybody. You do not have to hit, you don't have to get DUIs or lose your job or anything like that. Like, your own personal bottom is when you just feel like you can't do this anymore. Like, it's just a mental awareness that you can't do this anymore. So anyways, for my first like 6 months of AA, I went to just women's meetings. I just wanted to be around like women and see how sober women were acting. I really didn't have any sober friends at all. Even the few sober people that I knew were men. So I kind of got my feet wet and met some women, and we would do like, they would have like, go out after the meetings and have lunch, which is called like fellowshipping and stuff. So you could go like just chit chat about whatever and feel like you're, making friends and stuff. And it was nice. I got my first sponsor. Now, I am eternally grateful for that sponsor. However, I do have, even in the program, you get resentment. So I had that sponsor for a few years. She took me through my first year. She took me through all my steps, I think. All of them. She was nice. She had a good sense of the program. She knew the book. Now looking back, okay, so the whole first year, she would make me go to these formal, like they're kind of formal meetings every Monday night, and it was like over an hour from my house, and yeah, like I said, they were formal, so you had to like dress up, and not like evening gown, but you had to dress nice, and it was a speaker meeting, but it was so big. It was like, it was held in a high school, and it was like bleachers full, and that's really was not my style. But whatever, you know, your first year, you're like, I'll do whatever you say. Like, I just need to get myself on track. I need to learn how to adult, without any substances. So now looking back though, she'd be like, so like say it was like a really bad weather day, like this is Chicagoland, right? So treacherous conditions sometimes in the winter. And she would say stuff like, well, while they're out there. So if conditions are terrible, what else can you sub for that night? Like what? Obviously, like you need your fix of like the program or of just a story or something. So can you look something up online? Can you do an online meeting? Can you do a meeting that's right next to your, like, in your hometown? So like looking back, it was like I would never tell my sponsees that they should drive in hazardous conditions to get to a meeting. Just, that's bizarre to me. She would make me ride with this other girl and this other girl. Okay. Now, I know that I'm neurodivergent, so things just hit me a little different than they hit other people. So if I'm around somebody that's really loud, it really affects me. Like, it hurts me. It's like a physical pain. If you can think of the sound that you hate the most, like nails on a chalkboard or something that makes you like this, that's what I would describe a lot of things feeling like to my senses, okay? So, she was loud. She never quit talking. She just liked to hear herself talk. She told the same stories over and over, and it didn't matter, like, those people where you're like, oh yeah, you already told me that. Or, yeah, I remember you saying that. And they just keep going. You're like, I just said you already told me that. Why are you still going? Like, you don't say that, but you're in your head, you're like, oh. That was her. It was just so ridiculous. Then, to make matters worse, she would take phone calls on her speakerphone in the car, like through the Bluetooth, and chat on the phone while I'm sitting there. Like, we would alternate driving and stuff. And if we were in her car, she would take calls and just chat. And I'm sitting there like, you can't be serious. And I would show, like, I was like, maybe she doesn't know that that's rude. So, like, if I got a call, normally I would just ignore it, in my car. But instead, I answered it, and I would be like, hey, I have somebody in the car right now, so I can't talk. Can I call you back later? Just to, like, give an example of what you do. If somebody calls to chat while you're in the car, now it's different if, like, your kid calls and they're like, hey, can I go to my friend's house? And then you say yes. Or can you take the chicken out? Stuff like that, like little quick phone calls. But you don't just keep going on with the conversation when somebody else is sitting right next to you, in my opinion. Okay. So all that was just so draining. And I wouldn't get home until, it was a later meeting. It would be late when I got home. It was just, ugh. But whatever, you know what? I stayed sober, so maybe it worked. So now that group of women was all like older white women, which is fine, right? That's really, in sobriety, there is a lack of minorities. There's a lack of women. There's not as many women. Like, there's as many women that need it, but there's not as many women in the meetings, in most meetings. to help, yes, but to help those below, like those that are needing help, that not you, you know, like don't manipulate it to where like, okay, everybody needs to learn service work, so come over and help me paint my house, you know, like, I don't know, maybe once in a great while, yeah, but I mean, am I being weird here, or is that weird? I don't know. Okay, so she tells me like it's time to go, but it was like, this was right around when I was moving to Iowa. So I moved to Iowa, and then the pandemic hit, and I was doing online meetings for a long time, and the meetings that I would go to in person were the 7 a.m.s. There was no women, none, and you can only be sponsored by a woman. Every few months there would be like a new woman that was new to the program. You can't be sponsored by a new woman, like they need sponsors, and I would give them my number just in case they needed one, you know, but they never call, hardly ever. So months go on, and I'm like, I need a freaking sponsor, like I need somebody to talk to, and eventually I got a number of a woman, and I was like, well, this is like the only lead I have, so let's go with it. And at first it was fine, but she went to like several evening meetings, and I was like, I can't go to evening meetings. I can, like, my morning or sometimes afternoon, like noons or afternoons, yeah, but I can probably, because I'm out of town 2 days a week, and I go to bed at 8, like that's my life, and that's that. Like, I'm not saying I can't make it meetings, but I'm saying I can't make it to 7 p.m. meetings all the time. So I was like, I can go to one 7 p.m. meeting a week. So I think that was a Monday night too. So we'd go to the same meetings on Monday night. But she would like, we'd meet once a week to read, and I've been through this book a million times. It gets so old, but whatever. It's fine. Every time I read it, I get something out of it. So we're like reading it. She seems, you know, she knows the program. She really does know the program. But she was one of those people that I think might have an unhealthy addiction to the program. Like lives, breathes, sleeps, not just the book, but the whole program, like the events. Like, I don't know if I don't know. We kind of like refer to them as like AA Nazis a little bit, which if that works for people, or if that's what they need, then that is great. There is a place for everybody in the program. But that does not mean that your exact program is going to be a perfect fit for everybody else in the program, right? And we need people to do things that resonate with them, or they're not gonna make it, you know. So like, here I am with this new baby. I had a baby, and there was and I already had sponsees of my own, but there was a newly sober woman who needed a lot. She needed a lot of attention, and she was like, you need to sponsor her. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, if you say that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. But I knew that she needed a lot of care, and I did not have that to give at that time. So that was frustrating, you know. We were constantly like missing, like she wouldn't call when she was supposed to, and I could not track her down, you know. I couldn't go visit her or drive to her all the time because I had this new colicky baby. He was not just a baby, he was a colicky baby. Like, I cannot take him places. So she did end up going back out, and that's not my sponsor's fault, and that is my brain, okay? So I'm hurting myself, I'm hurting my sobriety by like fitting myself into this freaking box that you think everybody in AA should be in. So she would be like, if you have a bad day, like if she would see me at a meeting, she'd be like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm okay. She'd be like, well, we gotta be really careful about saying like, oh, we're okay, because if somebody's new in the meeting and you're just doing okay, then they might not think this, like basically think the program works. And I'm like, where are you getting this from? Well, it turns out she's basically in this like whole group of women that kind of manipulated the, how people can take the Bible and make it mean what they want. So this particular group kind of, I feel like, took the main points and just spun it to a really, even though a lot of them are liberal, I'm going to say conservative as far as the program goes, not politically, not as far as like government. I don't mean that. I mean this program. So like, if I'm explaining that right, I don't know, but like, I just feel like they spun things to fit. Like they had rules for dating. That's not in the book, and I don't feel like you can. Yes, you are not supposed to. It's good advice. You're not supposed to like, for your first year while you're sober, you're just kind of supposed to focus on sobriety and not relationships, because relationships can kind of screw you up, and you just feel like once they mess up, you feel like you're gonna go drink again. Okay, I get that, but like they had rules for like, oh, we need to check this person out, and you shouldn't sleep with them until XX. Like, okay, this just all feels like micromanaging or like a power trip to me, and I wasn't dating, so I only learned this from other people in the program that had attempted to be in that sponsorship line. Anyways, then when my dad was passing away, like a few days after I found out my dad was passing away, I went to a meeting and I could barely take it. And after that meeting, I said, I gotta go. Like, it ended and I said, I gotta go, and I left. And, oh, sorry guys. So she called me after and was like upset with me for not chatting after the meeting and not wiping down the tables. Now, mind you, there's probably 30 people at that meeting. It is not just my job to wipe down the tables. It's the men can do it too. Okay, you can do it. Anybody can do it. If I need to get out once in a while straight after the meeting, so be it. But she was upset. I said, I barely made it through that meeting. You know that I just found out my dad was passing away like 2 days ago. Okay, I didn't even think I could go to the meeting, and I don't feel like I owe people explanations non-stop. Like, nobody should be that non-stop, okay? And she was like, well, you need to throw yourself into the program, you need to do more, you need to, and I was like, and then she goes, oh, well, because I was like, I'm going through all this with my dad, and I also need, I just need to get home. My baby was still nursing. I hadn't had dinner. The family hadn't had dinner. Like, it was a nighttime meeting. And she's like, well, she has no little kids. Okay, she has older kids, like, out of the house. But she goes, well, I've been up since 6. I said, oh, do you think this is some kind of competition? Or do you think everybody is built exactly like you? Tell me what you think here. Because that's not how humans work. That is not how humans work. Humans tire out at different levels. Humans can take, everybody's different. Okay, some people can only be around other humans for a little while, and some people need to be around other humans all day. Like, that's not okay with me, and that's where I draw the line. I don't care how many hours you were awake today. Don't ever tell me that again. sponsor now.